Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is Rick, your host. We are here on Tuesday night, March 12th, and we are talking about indictments on Trump's kids. Did Mueller and Rod Rosenstein pull an incredibly dirty trick? Crazy if you really start thinking about what may be happening here. And I see Tracy and Amy and Brian and Jack and Tracy coming on. I appreciate you guys. Let me know where you guys folks are from. We're talking about, again, the Blessed Teach show here on March 12th. Rick, your host, and this is the indictments on Trump's kids. Also, all kinds of justice coming as well. That's what's exciting here. So let's dig into this. We have a bunch of new Qyou posts, which is always exciting. The last one we left off with was like a 3034 when we were talking on March 12th. This was, I'm sorry, let me back up here. This was the March 11th. We reviewed this. Dr. Michael Gates, FBI Rome 3032, that went in, that was about 8:19 when we went off the air last night. And the new one that came in a little bit later was this about Nate Kane and the whistleblower. I think we went over this one, but I'm just going to, to make sure, I'm going to kind of go back over this because this is interesting. Some very suspicious things have taken place today concerning my family. I can't get into detail, but it left us all more than a little disturbed. Please pray for us and for our protection. For the public record, I am not suicidal. I'm in good health and avoid risky behavior. And Qyou posted this, and all kinds, thousands of people started praying for him. You'll see in a second, a little bit later, I'll show you the outstanding response. He didn't even know who Qyou was, and now he is just overwhelmed with tens of thousands of people praying for him. Qyou said, stay in the light, remain in open comms with Senator Graham and Grassley regarding Whistleblower Protection Act. They will take your phone calls. Qyou. So good news there. So let's get into the first sponsor. And again, guys, this is by far, I think, the best device I've ever owned. I mean, a solar-powered flashlight that actually can charge your phone up. Talk about a great device for emergencies. And the solar power charges up with very little light. Doesn't have to be direct sunlight. And so I can put it out there for a half hour every couple of weeks, and it keeps its charge. And so to be able to have that access to that for each of your phones, to me, is a great safety feature. And this thing's big but light, but extremely durable. It's got a glass breaker. It's got these high lumen oriented, and it can be seen a couple miles away with different levels of flash. Seatbelt cutter, wire cutter. Some of my subscribers are saying that they love this and they're ordering more, right? And this is a strobe light that can go SOS and do other things that can be seen a couple miles away as well. And then it's up here is a compass. And now, if you take the compass off, you have an extremely loud siren. It's loud without it. You take it off, it's really loud. That's a new feature for 2019, where they moved this. This used to be on the end, now in 2018. So great enhancement, and a big magnet here as well. Again, an incredible PatriotFlashlight.com. And you have a coupon code to really get this for a great deal. If you buy, getting one of these for each of your phones and for friends and family, you buy 3 of them, you get a huge discount besides the 50% discount they're offering now. So if you basically say, yes, send me this flashlight, and you can go get 3 of them, and it knocks it all the way down to $49 from the $139 for one flashlight. And now if you go up here and actually put blessed in the coupon, you have to go all the way to the top. It's a little tricky. Make sure you put blessed 20 in there, and you will literally get another 20% discount, another $30 off, right? So $119 for 3 of these. Get 3 for the price of 1. Again, PatriotFlashlight.com, and use blessed20 for the coupon code. Let's get into these decodes. So that's 3033, and then 3034 came in about 11:25 a.m. So right about lunchtime, he starts posting again. Do you believe in the time? The timing is a coincidence? Stay tuned. And he's talking about the March Madness. Here it goes. And here is, let's listen to this. This is Hannity from last night, and he actually just tweeted something from tonight as well, which was kind of exciting just a second ago.
Sarah, we'll start with you because you've been investigating this from day one, is that they don't have anything. And now that we had last Friday the beginning of the release of all the depositions, we also see a lot of criminal activity. Especially as it relates to the dossier, is at the heart and soul of all of this. And everybody was warned, never verified. Steele hated Trump. Hillary paid for it. The DNC paid for it. The FBI paid for it. The Russian oligarchs paid for it. And Steele doesn't stand by it, so you can't verify it.
Yeah, so think about this, Sean. You just laid it out perfectly. There is absolutely no evidence that we've seen yet. We know Senator Burr's already come out publicly and said if he were to write the report today, he would actually have to write the report stating that there was absolutely no evidence of collusion or conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. But what we've seen over the last 2 years with all the investigations being conducted by Congress, the investigations that I've been on, John Solomon, you've been on, everything
John Solomon, Sarah Carter,
shows a direct line between Russia and the Hillary Clinton campaign. This is what's so incredible. So if anything needs to be investigated, and not only that, we've not only seen that, we also saw extensive abuse and malfeasance in the FBI, what we're seeing with the FISA documentation, and here you have Adam Schiff, who is so desperate that something come out that he's moving forward with his own investigations with absolutely no criminal evidence of anything. So if anything is going to come out of this, I think right now what we're seeing is that there needs to be a full-fledged investigation by the Department of Justice into what is alleged and believed to be criminal activity.
Listen to this.
We learned today,
on Hillary
and I want to get
Clinton's
some analysis from Pam. We learned today that those investigations have been ongoing, and they're happening, and they're real.
That's right.
And there's other things that are about to happen that I know you know.
Did you hear that? So that's the end of this. The entire convo is very telling. Sean Hannity, we learned today that those investigations have been ongoing, and they're happening, and they're real. Sarah Carter says, that's right. And there's other things that are about to happen that I know you know. Right? These are the people in the know right now, right? They're the mainstream media part that's being used from the beginning. We've talked about Sarah Carter, SarahACarter.com, and John Solomon from The Hill. Those two, working with Hannity, are under protection. They're getting the scoop. So great places to make sure you go to understand what's going on there. That's 3034. If you go to 3035, they repost something that we've seen before. And this is just a little org chart showing where the mid-year FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation. You had James Comey as the corrupt director. And then you had Andrew McCabe as the corrupt deputy director, working with Chief of Staff Jim Rebecki, and then Special Counsel Lisa Page, who was obviously sleeping with Peter Strzok, and those two were the ones where all the text messages come. Peter Strzok reported up to Bill Precept through Michael Steinbach to the director. But these guys were incredibly involved, including Lisa Page, into obstructing justice here, as well as James Baker, who we have massive evidence from as well. So it's very important to know that all these people are gone. They're out of the FBI. The house has been cleaned, but their testimonies against each other, etc. Lisa Page's, you'll see in a second, her 306 pages or something like that of testimony for 2 days got released. And so we'll see that here in a second. It's quite exciting to see what we have. Now, if I go back to here, you'll see Qyou talks more about it. He talks about the Clinton connection. So now he's given us another link. Where are they now? And so this link is all about what we learned in 2016 in the summer. This huge report from Horowitz, the OIG, right, the Inspector General. And if you look at the Office of Inspector General report, very damning on the whole thing around Spygate, right? It was the beginning ages of showing us exactly what happened. So if you pull all this information together that we studied back in June of 2017, and it showed the Clinton connection. And where are they now? They've all been fired. Lisa Barsumian equals Rod Rosenstein's wife. Yes. And she also represented Bill Clinton. So here's another connection right here. Assistant DOJ Rod Rosenstein's conflict of interest wife represented Clinton in federal court. So here we are in this document. You see Lisa Barsumian, and here she is on 8 of 98. Who was her client? William J. Clinton. That's right. So obviously you have a huge conflict of interest right there. Mueller's connection to uranium-1 and Russia. So obviously they should not be involved in this Russia collusion thing because they were, obviously, Rod Rosenstein is a Hillary supporter. They even got money, tons of money, for his wife to run for a Democratic position. So if you look at Mueller's connection to uranium-1 and Russia, which is a really intriguing piece, this is worth reading if you have time. I'm not going to have time to go over all of it, but this is basically a statement with the House of Representatives. But the whole point of this, let me get that back, see if I can get it. There's one move it doesn't like me to make, so let me bring that back up. There it is. And I'm going to blow this up so you guys can read a little bit more. I'm going to skip all the way to almost the end of it because it really goes over a lot of the details. I just want to get to the crux of the Mueller one. It says, Mueller at the FBI, the DOJ, took a very unusual step. Instead of preventing others from knowing who this person was, they went after William Campbell and made him sign under threat. And then what they're talking about is all these people were being bribed by Russia to extort the sale of 20% of our uranium, right? And so this guy blows the whistle, and they should have put him under a federal witness protection program. Instead, what do? They make him sign a non-compete. That's what this is going to get into right here. The unusual step, instead of preventing others from knowing who this person was, they went after William Campbell and made him sign under threat that they would come after and prosecute him, made him sign a non-disclosure agreement. Incredible. So just look at this. This is the guy that's actually being a whistleblower. William Campbell, he should be a hero and should be under a protection program to take down a bunch of Russians breaking our laws to extort our uranium-1. And Mueller does what? When we knew Mueller was dirty back then, right? I think he's been kind of turned, and but he did some really incredible thing today, indicting the kids of Trump. I'll talk to you about that in a second, but it may have been under the Rod Rosenstein last-ditch effort, right? But anyway, they made him sign a non-disclosure agreement and said they were going to prosecute him, so he couldn't talk about it. They didn't want Rosenstein, who was the U.S. attorney over the investigation, they didn't want Campbell out telling about all of the crimes committed in Russia acquisition of U.S. uranium. They have their own informant sign a non-disclosure agreement under threat so they wouldn't let anybody know about all the criminality surrounding the Russian efforts to get our uranium. That doesn't make sense unless you know how much money came into the Clinton Foundation after the deal was approved. This goes on. It says, now consider this. None of the 4 indictments ever saw the light of day. So they had 4 indictments that this whistleblower helped indict all these different people that were working with the Russians or the Russians, right? Actually, that's not quite accurate. They just handled it quite quietly. It says every one was either quietly settled under plea agreements or dropped entirely as follows. So this guy, McCarran, the tenant manager, was sentenced. Now this is a guy that was colluding with the Russians to sell our stuff, right? And was totally taking money, etc. He only got 48 months under a plea deal for crimes that had 20-plus year sentences. That was in United States of America versus Vadim Markarian, original indictment 11/24/14. So this is that in 2014, right during the midst of the corruption, the full police state of the Obama administration, right? Conspiracy to interfere with interstate commerce by extortion, forfeiture. So that's what that's that 20 years down to 48 months. So 20 years down to 2 months. 2 years, and then after with good behavior could be a year or less. All right. So you basically do a year of prison for what could be 20 years. And then here's Darren Conley had a plea agreement regarding his violations of anti-bribery and conspiracy laws. Carol Condry had a plea agreement and her case was dropped. And this Rubinesky from NextGen had the case settled with a plea agreement. That is astonishing given the charges. This stinks to high heaven. Mueller needs to go ahead and recuse himself and step down, and Rosenstein should do the same thing. So I focused on Mueller here. There's some more things about Rosenstein and how he should have recused himself as well. But an incredible look at Mueller's connection to Uranium One and actually delivering the uranium as well, as we know that. It says the Clinton connection, pay for play spiderweb, Qyou. So, wow, they're getting aggressive about letting us know about the Clinton Foundation. People saying that she was going to get away with all this stuff. Have another thing coming. Here is 3036 now. It's got a Gateway Pundit article, and it's talking about reread the drop. This is the biggest news I thought of all the drops today, because this is about Trump's children being indicted. And it was done during that period of time when Sessions was let go, and they were about ready to put Whitaker in. That was only a few days, I believe. But what the Gateway Pundits reporting on something incorrectly here, which the Qyou Post tells us, but they incorrectly report this, that Barr agreed to this. So we'll see exactly what ends up happening in the wash. But this is what they reported. Attorney General Barr gave Mueller permission to indict Trump's 3 adult children and Jared Kushner. A report at the Spectre on Friday claims dirty cop Robert Mueller met with Attorney General Bob Barr, and the two agreed that President Trump's children should be indicted. This is their last effort to stop this thing, the last blockade. The report goes on to say that Special Counsel Robert Mueller and his 13 angry Democrats also want President Trump to be indicted, but that Barr pushed back on this. And so you'll see here, Sidney Powell is an expert in Department of Justice corruption and has followed the career of Democrat hatchet man Andrew Weissman, who has destroyed thousands of lives during his career as a federal prosecutor, only to see his cases get overturned later by Superior Court rulings. We saw that with the Enron and Arthur Andersen. Many of my friends, believe it or not, I started my career at Arthur Andersen before flipping over to Accenture. But they had invested in the partnership. They literally put savings money in to buy into the partnership and lost it all. All their partners lost their retirements. Thousands of people lost their jobs. Many friends of mine in the Dallas area. But that was because of the henchman they're talking about here. Weissman using completely dishonest techniques. He got overruled 9-0, everything he did. He's the one who should be going to prison for his unlawful activities, in my opinion. Sidney Powell wrote, License to Lie, exposing corruption in the Department of Justice after seeing the core group of federal prosecutors break all the rules, make up crimes, hide evidence, and send innocent people to prison. In the Enron case that I was just talking about, that was with Arthur Andersen, lost everything. Completely dismantled the firm. Sidney warned that the report, which will likely be authored by Andrew Weissman, will destroy Trump. Now, I don't agree with this at all, by the way. That is the goal, and that's true. That is why Democrats are looking forward to its release. Via The Spectator, it says, the story said members of the President Trump family will be charged, but also noted that it is the Department of Justice policy not to indict a sitting president. However, there's no frenzy at the DOJ on Friday. No throng of reporters to make the tourist heading up Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House stop and look. So what happened? Several sources tell Cockburn that the special counsel has indeed completed his report. It is said to be recommend indicting 3 of President Trump's children, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, as well as his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The Attorney General, William Barr, is said to have silently assented to this. I don't think so, but we'll see. It's also claimed that Mueller wants President Trump himself to be indicted. Barr is said to oppose this. The two men met on Friday, but apparently could not agree, and this was the reason for the delay in any announcement from the DOJ. At least that's what the sources say. So who are the sources? Joseph Heller mocked Washington's and journalism's culture of sources in his novel Good to Gold. I believe I got that information about you from a reliable, unnamed source. I've been doing a lot of work here as an unnamed source, Gold answered with nervousness and haste, so it may have come from me. No truth to it at all. And that is so true in that book about exactly what's going on with all these unnamed sources, right? None of Cochran's sources was in the room, as they say in Washington, for the alleged discussion between Mueller and Barr and their two staffs. And none of the sources was briefed by the people in the room. But they did talk to the people briefed by the people in the room, and twice removed from the original conversations, they all give the same account. It is that the older Trump's children and Jared will be indicted for financial crimes, while Mueller wants to charge Trump with obstruction of justice. The charges, Cochran is told now, will not be about Russia collusion. This is different from the story yesterday, which was that Mueller would make the case for collusion. It is different from what the former CIA John Brennan said. And so John Brennan, here he is, lying through his teeth. What's he say on the Lawrence O'Donnell's show on NBC this week? He thought that the children would be indicted, and like Cockburn, that it would happen on Friday. So now obviously it didn't happen last Friday, but the whole point is Qyou is going to correct this. He says, reread the drop. You remember this drop that we heard about? Mueller sealed indictment installed D.C. prior to Rod Rosenstein's loss of power. That's when Whitaker got in there. He lost all his power, right? Sealed indictments, D.C. blockade last result installed post Sessions departure and Whitaker assumption. So really those few days between Sessions and Whitaker, they went and put sealed indictments in there on Trump's kids. Crazily bold criminals here. Sealed indictment count D.C. post-Sessions departure. Obviously there's 4 or 5 new ones came in. Sealed indictment count D.C. pre-Walker assumption. So obviously there was more because they did it in between when Rod Rosenstein had his illegal power of not being overseen, and he knew Whitaker was going to come and take it away. So what's the power of Barr? Can a sealed indictment be pulled post-filing? So I think that's a yes. There's a lot of anons arguing over this, saying that it's a no. I think it can be, especially when it's done in haste and a politically motivated sealed indictment, right? And so it'll be interesting to see. Now, they may not want to do that for the political reasons and let this play out and show how corrupt these unverified, sealed indictments are. But here's Trump's, Qyou's saying, did POTUS just install a rogue AG who allows for the indictment of his children based on false pretenses? And basically the answer is no to that. So did he actually agree to it? I think there's something at play here. I think he has the power to pull them. But the other solution could be that they are going to just expose the dirty politics here and show that it's false pretenses. So it'll be interesting. We'll see soon. And it's talking about Barr Senate vote, 54-45. Because they didn't want him. All the Democrats, pretty much, about 90% of them plus, did not want Barr in, right? Do unicorns exist? No. So basically saying that's answering this question, in my opinion. Did POTUS just install a rogue AG who allows for the indictment of his children based on false pretenses? No. Do unicorns exist? No. Barr, they didn't want Barr in there. Right, unlike Rod Rosenstein, who was overwhelmingly approved, right? So, gosh, I just think that's the most intriguing drop to show us that they're using this, news and these false sources to build this up to say that Trump's kids are actually being indicted, which is a huge, it's the largest move Mueller's ever made, right? Trying to directly attack Trump and his family. Now here's 3037, and here is Representative Doug Collins. Today, the DougCollinsHouse.com page will be placed in the records so the American people can read the transcript of Lisa Page's interviews before the Judiciary Committee.
From our investigation into apparent wrongdoing at the FBI and DOJ. At that time, I said there would make additional transcripts from the committee investigation public, and I'm here today to keep that promise. As I stated then, our interview transcripts were pertinent to a congressional investigation, but the 115th Congress ended, the investigation was closed, and copies were shared with certain members of Congress. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I request that the link dougcollins.congress.gov/page be placed in the record so the American people can review the transcript of Lisa Page. The American people deserve to know what transpired at the highest echelons of the FBI during the tumultuous time for the Bureau. Out of an abundance of caution, the transcript has a limited number of narrowly tailored redactions related only to confidential sources and methods, non-public information about ongoing investigations, and non-material personal information. I will continue to work to release as many transcripts as possible. The American people deserves transparency, and with that...
There we go. The transparency's coming. And if you go to this page, you can actually see the Lisa Page transcripts from day 1 and day 2. So here's day 1. Come back here, go to it again, it'll open up another window and you can see page 2. And there's a lot of people have dug into this, and there's discrepancies between what Orr is saying and what she's saying. I read the first part of this and it was clear she was trying to avoid answering questions as much as she could, turn into her turn, try not to answer certain questions. Trey Gowdy was all over her, and it was clear that she was basically acting as if what she clearly meant by the text, she was saying that she didn't mean that, because it basically that just showed her massive bias. You can see right through that, right? Hello, Deborah from Colorado. But you see, it's just amazing how the information's coming out now. Everything that happened last year, we're going to get to see. And so when the indictments start rolling, it is going to be fun. But again, I think it's going to take time here. We've got to be patient, because there's going to be a little bit of information coming out every day so we can all consume it. And that's what Qyou wants. He wants us to consume it, right? Barr is definitely a white hat. So that was just and that's what Qyou's telling us right back here. I really believe that he said he's obviously did not put a rogue AG in, right? And that's why they're saying, did unicorns exist? No, of course he didn't do that. So he is he's a white hat all the way. And he's going to be taking all these guys down. But he has to work with Mueller in this game. I think we're going to find out Mueller is still saving his tail. I know that most people don't believe that, especially when they see this new stuff. They're going, are you kidding me? He's indicted Trump's kids. How can you possibly think he's working with the white hats? Well, he was a complete black hat that I think they flipped and put in this role as the part of the movie to distract the Democrats. And it's just like, how do you catch a wild animal? Well, they think Mueller's on their team when he's actually having to work both sides. He's a double agent, basically, working for the deep state as well as having to work with the IG, etc. I believe that happened. We'll see if I'm right. I may be completely wrong, because she's looking pretty black right now, isn't he? So now that was 37 right there, where we just went into all of Lisa Page's stuff. Juicy. Whoa, 2 in a row. Then we go to 38, and we get into Qyou just telling us why he created QAnon, right? And why they went to the 8chan boards. And we'll get to this in more detail later, too. Decide for yourself. Be free from outside opinion. Decide for yourself. Be objective in your conclusions. Decide for yourself. Be true to your own beliefs. Decide for yourselves. Be open to the following facts. Basically following the facts, right? Decide for yourself. Be strong in defending your beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be resistant to blindly accepting factless statements. Decide for yourself. Be free. Those who attack you, those who mock you, those who cull you, those who control you, those who label you, do they represent you? Or do they represent themselves in some form? Mental enslavement, the Great Awakening, freedom of thought was designed and created not only as a back channel to the public away from the long-standing mind control of the corrupt and heavily biased media, but to endure future events through transparency and regeneration of individual thought, breaking the chains of groupthink, but more importantly, aid in the construction of a vehicle, a ship, that provides the scattered free thinkers with a starter new social networking platform which allows for freedom of thought. expression and patriotism or national pride, the feeling of love, devotion, and sense of attachment to a homeland and alliance with the citizens who share the same sentiment. As one long run-on sentence about how and why the Chans were used to allow us to have freedom of thought. When non-dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative and or the stable. When you are awake, you stand on the outside of the stable, groupthink collective, and have free thought. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on the basis of logic, reason, and empiricism, and rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. When you are awake, you are able to clearly see the choice is yours and yours alone. Trust and put faith in yourself. You are not alone, and you are not in the minority. Difficult truths will soon see the light of day. Where we go one, we go all. Qyou. Another classic post. My brother even texted me about this. 3038. It's so cool. It's why Qyou was formed, right? So the very why Qyou was formed. All these decide yourselves, right? And all this, the Mockingbird media, 4 a.m. talking points trying to control us. And now they call us a cult. The very people trying to control us call us a cult. Why? Because we have freedom of thought. Because we're using logic and we're using reason and we're looking at empirical evidence, right? Versus authority, tradition, revelation, and dogma, propaganda, control. That's what they're about. And this Qyou is coming right around that. So it's not working for them too well, is it? So now here we got 3039. Here is Representative Jim Jordan here giving some truth bombs. Why did Adam Schiff say that his talks with Michael Cohen were limited to inviting him and allaying any concerns about threats to his family, but not mention the 14 hours his staff spent prepping Cohen before the hearing? And he says in this one here, why did Adam Schiff fail to disclose that he met with Glenn Simpson, whose dossier Oppo research was funded by the Clinton campaign in Aspen? And he says here, why did Adam Schiff falsely claim in his memo that Bruce Orr hadn't communicated his relationship with Chris Steele to the FBI prior to the 2016 election? Why did Adam Schiff try to block Congress from learning that the Clinton campaign paid for the dossier? Woo! Lied Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff getting called out by Representative Jim Jordan. So Qyou posts that, and what's he say? Change you can believe in. Forward. Great together. Better on America. We don't quit. Winning the future. We can't wait. An America economy built to last. Qyou. So he's asking you to just come in here and post this. I think I've shown you if you have a Mac, it's Command-Shift-4 or Command-Shift-5 will work too. And you just highlight this here, click, puts it in your desktop, and boom, you can put that on social media. Send it to your Instagram, to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your Gab AI, to your Minds.com. Those are all platforms I'm on. You'll find me on there, Blessed to Teach. Some of them have a little 2 in there for the 2, and some of them have a TO, depending on what was available, right? So please, meme up. This is what Qyou's asking us, is to make sure we forward, retweet, do all those things with information like this. This clearly shows that anybody that wants to look and use logic and reason is going to understand that Adam Schiff's a freaking liar. He's a thief in Senate clothing, right? And the quicker we get criminals out of our government, the faster we're going to make America great again, right? So here we go. it's happening 30-40, and Qyou puts this now infamous meme right here is another one. Please copy this and send it on. Donald J. Trump retweeted this back a while ago, but here it is. It says, now that the Russia collusion is proven lie, when do the trials for treason begin? And this has got a picture of Eric Holder and Obama and Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch and Comey, as well as Huma Abedin and James Clapper, and you've got Hillary, and you got Rod Rosenstein, and you have Mr. Podesta as well. That's actually John Podesta, and then Mueller, all in this picture. And I think this picture was done without somebody in that he wanted added to the picture. So remind me which one that was. I think it was Podesta was added, if I remember right, because he wasn't in there before. So Qyou says, please update this with Podesta in there. So that was just classic stuff, is what he said that. So let me go back. Look, that was 30-40. And then if I go to 30-41, you'll see the unsealing of the first several indictments will bring about unity and change. Change that we can believe in. Returning power to the people. Returning the rule of law to our land. We stand together. We stand together as patriots. Qyou. Wow, that's 30-41. So that just makes me excited about what are the first several indictments going to be, right? So maybe it's not going to be some of these lower level people I thought it was going to be. Maybe it's going to be a few of the big names. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be fun. Now here we are on, I think Qyou wants to emphasize something here. What do you think? Thank you, EOT Dave. Hope to meet all the patriots that celebrate our independence this 4th of July in D.C. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. And my wife and I are going to try to get up there July 4th. Maybe we'll have some type of Blessed to Teach event for those of you who want to join. It could be kind of a fun thing. But anyway, this is 30-42. And we have all these. This is the same video. This is that 5.5-minute video about why this video is going to get Trump elected, right? Just a beautifully well done video.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people.
And this is awesome, right? 5 minutes and 48 seconds of beauty. If you go back through here, it just continues to show exactly who the corrupt people are and how they're doing it. And just a beautiful video. So obviously, this is another thing to forward. It's got 2 million views now almost. Like this, forward this puppy on, share it across all your social media. The more we get this word out there, everybody's going to see, wow, he was right. Look at all that's going on right now. And he puts it here 12 times actually and signs it Q+. That's basically Trump saying, please watch this video and forward it on 12 times, right? I think that's kind of the message here. Let's continue to get this message out to show that over 2 years ago, he knew where all the corruption was. This is an orchestrated military operation to systematically take down hundreds of year-old cabal. Exciting to see this happen right before our eyes. 3043 just says justice. And it's a tweeter, what we would call a tweet on Twitter by Sean Hannity. And this is from tonight. I was watching this before I came on the air here. Let's listen to Sean.
To come in a two-tier justice system. That's all about to change. Justice, I can tell you and report from my sources tonight, is on the horizon. Stay tuned with us. One law.
There you go. Justice is on the horizon. And we know Trump's got a close relationship with Hannity. He's being protected along with Sarah A. Carter as well as John Solomon from The Hill. And we've been getting truth bombs from them over and over again. I think that was the last one I had. Let me refresh to see if anything else has come in since that time. 9:59. Looks like we got through them. Good. So that is an awesome way to see how just the excitement that's going on here. And we got a lot more news to go over and a prophecy. So let's whip through some of this stuff. Let's see. I opened up a lot of windows here. Let me see where I was. That's the Lisa Page stuff. There is the flashlight. I want to talk about the Trump coin. Wow. Guys, I tell you what, they've given me the best deal on this so far, where you can get $5 off this coin, plus get free shipping for over 3. I just bought more of these silver coins. I actually, it's got a good investment on $100 off on the gold one as well. But man, it's just so, you gotta be so proud of this president who's keeping all his promises, right? And that's what this is all about: promises made, promises kept. And that's why I'm proud to announce this President Trump 2020 Freedom Coin is still being a sponsor of Blessed Teach. And so they've been one of my best sponsors for a long time, along with Virtual Shield. You can see here, the front of this coin is just beautiful. You get it gold or silver. This one is the silver one, obviously. And it's got the reverse side, says delivering as promised, listing 4 of his major accomplishments, with the first major tax reform in 30 years, unemployment rate low since 18 years, jobless claims low since 1973, Dow Jones highest in history. Again, this can be used in your IRA and your 401ks. Again, silver and art mixed together. That's what I love about this. That's where I think the value of these could potentially be a collector's item after the arrest and time goes on, and they look back and look at this type of coin, limited edition coin. So pretty exciting. Again, you can get a gold one if you come all the way to the bottom of this. You're going to go to TrumpCoin2020.com. TrumpCoin2020.com. Here's 1950. It's pretty weird right now that they if you go here, you can get free shipping for a gold one and get $100 off the gold one. Don't use a coupon code on this one because it just does it automatically for you. But on the silver ones, which most people will get, it's $38.95, but you get $5 off of that if you use BLESSED as the coupon code. And if you buy 3 or more, it's free shipping to save another $6.50. So buying 3 of these coins, I think, if you have some friends or other people that are Trump supporters, these make great birthday presents. These make just a wonderful gift for anybody who is a Trump fan or a patriot in your family or your friends. All right, let's move on to some of this other news. Look at this. They said, do unicorns exist? Now, there are some software products called Unicorn that's been named Unicorn, and a lot of anons are going wild with that. But I clearly just thought that meant no, unicorns do not exist, and no, Trump would not actually have a rogue AG appointed. So I think that's the point here. And so this is kind of a cute meme of there's William Barr coming in on his unicorn, right? So the whole thing about the Trump's kids indictments, I think it just shows you how far these criminals will go and the deep state will go. I think they made Mueller do it, and they made Rosenstein do it, right? Here's in vote.co, VOAT.co, how President Trump is taking down the pedophilia industry and its major players. Brilliant, just brilliant. It says, we all know child trafficking networks are being taken down, and there's zero MSN coverage. Well, as it turns out, that's okay, because what is coming are Moabs that can't be ignored. Let's look at the attack plan. First, he stopped Saudi Arabia and then North Korea and now Venezuela, all trafficking hubs. And last, we will plug much of the southern border. But those are only part of a much larger plan. Now, the rest of the story. Beyond the disgusting and vile nature of child rape and sacrifice and the massive use of pedophilia used in blackmail, thousands of industry leaders, elites, Congress, and on are compromised and controlled. Honey traps everywhere. This was an old Russian trick and very effective. But this is about to change. Strike one. Jeffrey Edward Epstein got caught, but only got a slap on the wrist. Just like the R. Kelly drama, the victims of Epstein are remounting their attack. The people involved in the cover-up and prosecution are going down with him. The treasure trove of elites who used his services will go down with him and is in the who's who in world politics, money, and control. Strike two. Follow the white rabbit. Hugh Hefner. Hugh wasn't stupid. He filmed it all. Think of all his friends only liked grown women. Think again. He had the largest collection of compromising videos of anyone on the planet in CIA control. The list of people he compromised and gave to the CIA is unfathomable. This is about to come to light. Not only will it expose thousands of people of power, but will also expose the CIA blackmail scheme. This brings down Hollywood, politicians, and most importantly, it is the start of the public dismantling of the CIA along with their child trafficking enterprise. Strike 3, all roads lead to the Vatican. The Vatican elite and establishment has always been the 300-ton pedophile elephant in the room. These tentacles also reach deep into the powers running our world worldwide. Bribery, blackmail, payoffs, and trafficking rings formerly immune to prosecution. This might be the biggest of them all. It is currently dismantling itself right in front of our eyes, and it is only the tip of the iceberg. The Royals and UK are one of the first big dominoes to fall with them. Strike 4, the Clinton Foundation. This investigation goes way back to Bill Clinton's governorship in Arkansas and will show all the same players involved in the first 3 strikes are involved in this one too. God only knows if Fazzle Drip will see the light of day. House of Cards. Strike 5, Hollywood. Think Harvey Weinstein was the lone wolf. Adam Schiff, which he misspells with a T there, and the Standard Hotel. Victims blowing whistles. Children casting couch. No end to this nightmare. The Emperor with no clothes to join our elephant in the Vatican. The entire entertainment industry is about to be exposed. Their symbols will be their end, along with their paper trails and burial sites. I think we'll all see this one coming. Strike 6, NXIVM. Not the only club of its kind. There are many, all elites, all sick people, all about to be exposed. NXIVM hasn't been in the chatter of late. Why? Well, it takes a long time to chase down all the misdeeds and collect the data to prosecute. This club and offshore clubs like it will do more than bring down the house. It will take down the entire neighborhood's massive reach. Sick. Coming soon to a theater near you. Strike 7, open borders. The U.S. has become one of the largest markets for child trafficking. Demand is huge. Our southern border has purposely been left open to make it easy. This will be shut down. But that is only the start. All the screams we heard fighting the wall, complicit and participating. The reach of this fiasco and the real agents behind it all will destroy a lot of the political lives and CIA players. Another whack to dismantle the CIA. This alone single-handedly cuts the major supply line. Strike 8, supply lines. Wars have been the fuel for orphans, captured, traded, bought, and sold. Of course, the war is profitable to many, all crooks, but the supply of the children has been enormous, the biggest feeder network on the planet. Wonder why Trump is pulling troops, closing bases, and ending wars? Well, pedophilia networks and the military-industrial complex is being dismantled behind the scenes. Strike 9. More supply lines, Planned Parenthood, Red Cross, social services, and more have all been feeding the supply line of young children. Each of these have been under silent investigation for years. They too are about to be exposed and will cripple the supply line of children, body parts, adrenochrome, and abuse. House of Cards, all connected, all a part of this disgusting industry. These are just the top list. Smaller operations are being publicized, but the Moabs are these 9 strike points from which there will be no escape. A worldwide snare to catch them all and end it once and for all. Pedophilia is the hardest red pill for the masses. their favorite stars, philanthropists, world leaders, admired public figures, religious icons, and popular elites will be exposed. It will look like the world is coming to an end. It is our job, Anons, to show that is only their world that is coming to an end. Our world is only just beginning. Without them, no wonder this plan has to be meticulously slow-rolled, since it will run over powerful people in positions to put every roadblock imaginable to stop it, like the Trump witch hunt. The storm is here. The pain is in sight. The great awakening is happening. Great post from an Anon on vote.co. Again, you can find all my links to everything I'm talking about here on blessedtoteach.com with a 2, blessed number 2, teach.com. The TO wasn't available, so go there and you'll find them. Easiest way is to obviously go get on the email thread, and then I can send you a link to that exact show each time I'm done with the show. Right, now here is Nixium, a big case in the Eastern District of New York in October 2018. I told several people following the case, including Frank Parlato of the blog. My sources said Nancy Salzman would be taking a plea deal. That has been confirmed today. So this is huge, guys. So Nancy Salzman was basically, she's the setter-upper. She was like the madam. And so she, if she takes a plea deal, that means she's talking. That is pretty big stuff. Because their plan was to nobody talk and everybody just take the fall. Well, she did a plea deal, which means she's going to be talking. Just like I hear Jeffrey Epstein's talking. We even know El Chapo's talking. So all this is coming down. Now, how quickly it's going to be real interesting. This Anna wants to say, hey, let's recap what happened. The poll attacks mailed fan fiction to anti-Trump pundit Rick Wilson about Trump making people pee in a bed and that Obama slept in. He thought it was a real and gave it to the CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America put this in their official classified intelligence report on Russian involvement in the election. Donald Trump and Obama have both read this Paul attacked fan fiction. The CIA has concluded that the Russian plan to blackmail Trump with this story we made up. Let that sink in. What have we become? Crazy how all this stuff's happened. This is a perfect little meme to copy and send on. Look at this. Trump just throwing a little football over the media to us. And the football has a Q on it. Q was exactly how he got around the media, right? It wasn't just Twitter, it was QAnon. It was a real bomb. Right, here is Pepe the Frog saying QNN, Anons are the news now. Nothing can prepare you for how batshit crazy the controlled media will be when the arrests begin. Popcorn sales skyrocket, and analysts unable to explain why. Here's Donald J. Trump talking about airplanes are becoming far too complex to fly. Pilots are no longer needed, but rather computer scientists from MIT. I see it as the time in many products. I see it all the time in many products. Always seeking to go one unnecessary step further when the old and simpler is far better. So you'll see there's another follow-on part tweet to that, but the bottom line is that the Ethiopia crash and everything that's going on there, he's really questioning whether we're getting too sophisticated, trying to do too much control of the automation. Sometimes something huge just changed the internet in a massive way, and CNN can't stop it. This is all about that Gab.ai dissenter app. So go to Gab.ai. That's a great alternative to Twitter, but more importantly, if you go download the dissenter app, you can see comments from, and especially if you go to your Chrome and actually download the what are those called? Those extra things you add to your browser, right? And those will actually allow you to see all the comments from people that they can't stop them, they can't edit them, right? So and everybody has to have a Gab account. So even the progressives are going to get in Gab's account so they can see what all us conservatives are saying or our libertarians are saying. So it's a hilarious thing. So go get Dissenter from Gab AI. Tucker Carlson had a great opening as they attacked him hard. Media Matters after him, trying to take him down just like they took out Bob O'Reilly, right? And he is fighting back. So go make sure you support Tucker all the way. In the Matrix has an awesome thing here. And I wish I had the time for this, and because this is awesome, guys. But it's just one of those things where I would have a way too long of a show if I did it. But I'll just show you. So 12 reasons why Qyou chose the Chan. So it's even more detailed about why did Qyou team choose 8chan for Qyou comms. So again, you'll find this on bless2teach.com in my show notes, and you get to the details of exactly what happened there. But it's another thing I'd read fully. In the interest of time, I may do that tomorrow. Let's look at this. A couple other pieces of news. Donald Trump is just tweeting up a storm again. So follow him, guys. If you don't have a Twitter, at least go to twitter.com and just search on Trump. And this is where we're getting our truth. And if you refresh it, you probably get even more. He's tweeting so much, right? He tweeted 5 hours ago here. So please keep updated through his Twitter, through Facebook, and through Qyou. Right here is Nate. Look at this. Is the guy that was worried for his life as being a whistleblower, and Qyou called him out. And everybody came on here and piled on with great comments saying they're praying for him. And what does he say? He says, I don't know who Qyou is, but I am grateful for him. I put out a request for prayer. He dropped in on 8chan, and the next thing you know, tens of thousands were praying for me and my family. Guys, that is the power of Qyou. You are part of a movement that is going to go in history. It's quite exciting if you really think about it from that perspective, that this is history happening right before our eyes. Here's breaking. Federal court moves to unseal documents in Jeffrey Epstein's case that could reveal evidence of an international sex trafficking operation. This is one of the 9 strikes that Anon was just talking about. Now here's some memes. This is the type of memes that you should be copying and sending on your social media. You awake? Is their greatest fear. Isn't that exactly right? There's the eagle just looking and going, yep, the criminals are worried. The mass media is worried. Justice is coming. There's that big hammer with a Q on it. Here's another one Praying Medic put up. It says, dispensing truth, one red pill at a time. It's Pepe with a big red truth pill. We are Intel. Qyou Research Super Elite Anons. Hashtag QAnon's digital militia. Here's another example of just a great meme that you can just copy and send on out. Here's this is 8% Revolt talking about. He says, QAnon wants us putting memes on blast that display Trump's 2 years of accomplishments. I'm in the process of creating a few now. Feel free to save and share. Be sure to use the hashtags Qyou provided. Hashtag Wake Up America. Hashtag Facts Matter. Hashtag Save America. Hashtag United Not Divided. Hashtag Where We Go One, We Go All. And here he's got 2 years of accomplishments. More than 5 million jobs created. And if you kind of go over here, you can go see more that he put out. Here's one that says 2 years of accomplishments. African American unemployment rate lowest on record. And you can go to magapill.com to get some of these. Also that 2 year of accomplishment that he put on the government site. 2 years of accomplishments. Asian and Hispanic American unemployment reached record low. So there's just examples of these great memes I'm asking you to help get out there, right? All right, we're already at 58 minutes, but I want to just make sure you guys knew that bless2teach.com is if I get taken off this channel, best place to go to figure out where I'm going to be is bless2teach.com with a 2, number 2, right? And here you can see if you go to this first deal and if you just the first home page and you go down, you'll see where I am on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. I appreciate it if you guys just go subscribe to these because it'll really help the accounts, especially iTunes if you have an Apple phone, and if you have a probably iHeartRadio is probably the top one for the Android phones. But if you go down just a little bit further, you'll see subscribe to the email list. This is where you'll easily get be able to keep in touch with me, as well as we'll get a link to each of my shows, the show notes. You can go here and see about. This is the times I try to go live with periodic days off, so you can actually see when I'm going live. You can also go to show notes here and go directly to see the show notes. They render really nicely. And then there's a blog here that I don't do a lot of, but there's some things more about me and my testimony, etc. That's blessed2teach.com. At the bottom of this, you'll see all my social media accounts. Minds.com I'm on, Gab.ai, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, all that type of stuff, as well as my backup channels and BitChute. Okay? Let's go to a quick prophecy. Probably not going to do much discussion because we already hit the hour, but let's read America, America, October 7th, 2015 by Mark Taylor. You can find it on swordrescue.com and all of his free areas. Here is his America, America prophecy. The Spirit of God says, America, America, oh how I love thee. America, America, oh how I have chosen thee. For as England was to the D-Day invasion, so shall America be for my end-time harvest. For England was the headquarters, the hub for which the D-Day assault was launched. So shall it be for my America, for the end-time harvest. For as England had men, women, equipment, food, money, weapons, and supplies of all kinds, which poured in from all over the world, so shall all these things pour into my chosen America. America, I have chosen you as a launching platform for the worldwide assault on the spirituality oppressed people of the world. People will say, how are we chosen? It's as if America is frozen. Am I not the God of the universe and all creation? I have heard the cries of my people and have sought my face, and I will heal their nation. People will ask how I will do this. I shall do it in two parts. First, the Spirit of God says, Army of God, out of the darkness, I command you to arise and take your place. For I have given you extra time, mercy, and grace. Go, go, go. Do not slow down. Begin to take and hold your ground, for there is no more time to waste. America will once again be the great light. The enemy will say, oh, the light, it shines so bright. There is nothing else left to do but take flight. And indeed, the sign will be a mass exodus in the natural as a spiritual flee. Second, the Spirit of God says, the gatekeeper, the President of the United States is the spiritual gatekeeper. I have chosen this man, Donald Trump, and anointed him as president for such a time as this. Can you not see this? For even in his name, Donald, meaning world leader, spiritual connotation faithful, Trump, meaning to get the better of, or to outrank or defeat someone or something, often in a highly public way. This man I have chosen will be a faithful world leader, and together with my army will defeat all of America's enemies in the spiritual and the natural. You will see it manifest before your eyes. I will use this man to shut the gates, doors, and portals that this past president has opened. He will open gates, doors, and portals of this past president has shut. My army shall not be silenced. They will begin to see he is the one I have chosen. They will begin to rally around him and keep him covered in spiritual support. And as you gain ground, they will say, America is not frozen. The seeds. Why is there no one asking about the seeds? What about all the seeds America has sown since her birth? America has never received her harvest. For I will use President Trump and my army to bring back to America all that she has sown. This will be used for my harvest. America will prosper like never before in her history as a nation. All of the financial seeds you have sown around the world, food, clothing, 90% of my gospel that has gone throughout all the earth has come from my chosen America. Her blood has been spilled on foreign soil to free the oppressed so that my gospel could go forward. America, your harvest is here. It shall parallel with your spiritual harvest in the natural. So do not fear. The Spirit of God says, the border is a 2,000-mile gate that's flowing across with demonic hate. I will use my president to shut this gate and seal it shut. It must be shut. Then I will use him and my army to root out the evil structures that are still there, to the point that the government will begin to call on my army. They will prophetically locate these structures so they may be dismantled before any evil can take place. OPEC, take a hike, for I am tired of your evil energy spikes. When my president takes office, you will shake and quake. You will say, America no longer needs us. That is true, for she will be energy independent for my red, white, and blue. For a sign will be given when prices go low, for a gallon of gas will be $1 and below. The Spirit of God says, the Supreme Court shall lose 3, and my president shall pick new ones directly from my tree. Are you still not convinced that my anointed and that he's the one I have appointed? Why can no one figure it out? The news media, the people, and the so-called wise? Why, when he's attacked, do his poll numbers rise? Those who attack him, their numbers go low, even to the point of a big fat 0. It's simple. This man I have appointed, for in my words is your answer. I said I do not touch my anointed, especially my prophets. If you are still not convinced about what my words say, another sign will be given. It will be a warning to all, especially those who will not listen. The Spirit of God says, the signs will be El Chapo, El Chapo. Your evil reign has come to an end. Who do you think you are attacking my anointed? Turn yourself in and repent, and I will spare you. If you do not, you and those that follow you will surely die in a very public death for the entire world to see. For no one touches my anointed. I, the Lord, am an all-seeing God and all-knowing God. I will be the one to disclose your location, the den that you and your vipers hide in. For time is short, and the spirit of death is at your door, and the world will see your dead body and the red shirt you wore. Classic Mark Taylor being used by the Lord, I believe, to give us messages here. This was done a year before the election. He knew Trump was going to win. He knew the Illuminati was going down. He knew our nation was going to be healed. He was being used by the Lord to put pen to paper in a way that was amazing. And I was so privileged to have him on live last week. Let's get to just one verse in the Bible, Joshua 1:9, when God said to Joshua, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that's why I believe the Lord God will be with us wherever we go. That's why if you don't know the Lord, just get into the Bible. Renew your mind with the biblical verse. That's the Word of God. Remember, you can pray all you want, but you're not listening to God unless you're reading His Word. That's how He primarily communicates to us. Is through the Bible, through the Word of God. So start to understand the love story that's in there. the good news gospel where he came, died on the cross for us as substitute for our sin so that we can get to heaven. A living sacrifice that's free. 100% Jesus, 0% me. 100% Jesus, 0% you. Accept that free gift. And then you'll have a God that goes with you wherever you go. That's the abundant life, my friends. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for to be able to just spend time doing something I love, exposing truth and just teaching truth. Lord, it's such a privilege. And I pray you'll keep all of us that are getting known through this movement to continue to be humble and give all of us great discernment to know what truth is and what's not. Give us great wisdom as well. And I talk to everybody who's listening to my voice right now. I just pray that you'll give them wisdom and discernment as well to know all this disinformation that's coming out, that they'll be able to filter through it and think for themselves and understand what real truth is, especially not only the QAnon movement and the corruption that's going on, but also in your Word of God, the true God, the triune God of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, the true Jesus who's always existed and always will exist. And as part of 1 John 1 says, the Word, which is Jesus, is God, and the Word was God. That God in flesh came here to die for us and as a substitute for us. Wow, Lord. And then the gospel, knowing that that's a completely free gift that has to do with 100% grace and faith, has nothing to do with works and what we do. That comes afterwards. That's a good news gospel. A gospel that requires your works is not good news because nobody's going to be perfect enough to do it. That's the good news gospel, Lord. Thank you for bringing that to us. Allow us to know how we can join you in this great awakening movement. Thank you, Lord. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, thank you. Sorry for going over here. It's an hour and 11 minutes. Did want to say thank you for some of the super chats that we got up here. I was going to scan through here. Tree climbing. We trust in God, not government. I love it. Tree climbing did another one that says, we trust in God, not government. And I really do appreciate you guys. You're awesome. His story says, God bless all. I love it. I love these messages. And there's Clark from India saying, hi Rick, Clark here. The hashtag should be hashtag save the planet. Praying and red pilling sheeple around me. Faith, family, and children are important. Thanks. He has a book, by the way. I brought it. Let me grab it real quick. Couple books I'm going to talk about real quick. This is Clark's book. So this is called The Barmula Bomber, and it really is awakening people to the deep state, the worldwide deep state through fiction. But it's awesome because it really parallels what the deep state's actually doing through a great fictional drama type thing. So awesome book. Also the new book Qyou, go to Amazon or any place else, get this. Amazon's dropped the price to purposefully not give them profit, but that gives you the opportunity to buy extra copies. So this is almost half price now. You can buy a couple of copies and give them out to friends, right? This is a book that Dustin Nemos, who's going to be on the show Thursday night, not tomorrow, but the day after. Dustin Nemos is one of the guys who pulled this together. He just got everybody together, all these anons. They pulled this together in record time, and I think it's well done. Starts with that beautiful video, the text from that about the plan to save the world. You've seen those videos, right? That's how it starts. And just does I think it just does a really good job of waking the people up. So again, go to Amazon, look at QAnon, The Great Awakening, and you can get this for incredibly cheap. They hardly make any money on this, and so Amazon is going to backfire on them by purposely lowering the price from $25 all the way down to like half price to try to kill it, and it's going to do the opposite because you can go buy more copies. So let's go do that, and then meme the heck out of everybody. Hey guys, God bless you, and we'll talk to you at a later time. Let me just show this here first. I want to go back to where I was at the front. Indictments on Trump's kids, and I think it's going to be pulled. Everything's going to be okay here. Don't worry about this. This is just the deep state's last desperate attempt to try to save themselves, to try to block this. Nothing is going to work. Justice is coming. This is a Blessed Teach Show on March 12th. God bless you guys. We will catch you next time.